The Meridian Educational Exchange was supposed to foster interspecies understanding. For 3 months, it had worked perfectly, until 4 Threxian students cornered the human girl in the academy's lower corridor. Riley Martinez was small by human standards, barely 17, with her dark hair tied back in the traditional style of Earth's northern colonies. She'd been nothing but friendly since arriving, helping struggling students with xenochemistry, sharing human snacks, always smiling. The Threxians mistook kindness for weakness. "Deathworlder," sneered Vexen, the largest of the 4. His scaled form towered over Riley at 7 feet, muscles rippling beneath natural armor. "The Academy wastes resources on your species. 1 human female, your prey animals playing at being predators." Riley's shoulders tensed slightly. "I should go. Don't want to be late for class." They blocked her path. "Your kind shouldn't be here," Ziltor hissed. His 3 companions spreading out in a hunting formation they'd used for generations on their homeworld. "We'll teach you where humans belong in the food chain." Security footage later showed Riley's pupils dilate, not in fear, but in something the Threxians didn't recognize. Humans called it adrenaline response. "Please move," Riley said quietly. Her voice had changed, dropping lower. Vexen laughed and reached for her shoulder with clawed fingers. The footage required slow-motion analysis to understand what happened next. At 0.3 seconds, Riley's hand intercepted Vexen's wrist, her thumb finding the pressure point between his scales, a weakness she'd noticed during anatomy class. At 1.2 seconds, using Vexen's momentum, she pivoted, her elbow driving into what humans called the solar plexus, a vulnerable nerve cluster present in most bipedal species. At 2.1 seconds, Vexen was falling. Riley had already moved, her body low, legs sweeping out to catch Ziltor at the knee joint. At 3.7 seconds, Ziltor hit the ground. Riley rolled backward as the 3rd Threxian, Kexvel, lunged. Her boot connected with his throat. Not hard enough to kill, just enough to trigger the gag reflex. At 5.4 seconds, Kexvel stumbled back, gasping. Riley had already sprung up, using the wall for leverage to gain height. At 7.8 seconds, the 4th attacker, Dexron, tried to grab her. She used his own grip against him, a technique humans called Aikido, sending him crashing into Kexvel. At 9.2 seconds, Riley landed in a defensive crouch, balanced on the balls of her feet, hands open but ready. At 11.6 seconds, all 4 Threxians were on the ground, conscious but incapacitated. At 12.0 seconds, Riley stood up, straightened her uniform, and picked up her dropped datapad. "Are we done?" she asked calmly. The Threxians couldn't respond, still trying to understand what had happened. They were apex predators from a high-gravity world. She was a juvenile from a species they considered weak. Security Chief Yalik arrived minutes later, reviewing the footage with disbelief. "You defeated 4 Threxian warriors in 12 seconds. How?" Riley shrugged. "They weren't warriors. They were bullies. There's a difference." "Explain," Yalik demanded, still processing what he'd seen. "Warriors train to fight warriors," Riley said, accepting a water bottle from a concerned classmate. "They expected me to meet strength with strength. But humans evolved running from things stronger than us, then figuring out how to beat them anyway. We study everything: anatomy, psychology, physics. Those 4, they telegraphed every move, attacked in sequence instead of simultaneously, and relied entirely on their natural advantages." She pulled up her sleeve, revealing bruises already forming. "See? I'm hurt. A real fight would have been worse. But they didn't want to fight, they wanted to intimidate. When intimidation failed, they didn't know what to do. Word spread through the academy within hours. The human girl hadn't just defended herself. She dismantled 4 superior opponents using precision, timing, and an understanding of combat that seemed impossible for her age. Later, in the medical bay, Vexen asked through swollen scales, "Where did you learn to fight like that?" Riley looked genuinely puzzled. "Every human learns basic self-defense. It's like swimming or fire safety. Earth's dangerous, not just the wildlife, but historically other humans too. My mom started teaching me when I was 5. 5. Ziltor gasped. You train children? We prepare children, Riley corrected. There's a difference. We don't want them to fight. We want them to survive if they have to. The administrator later reviewed Earth's application, finding a note she'd overlooked. Species exhibits standard Deathworld adaptations including enhanced reflexes, situational awareness, and systemic combat training from juvenile stage. She'd assumed it was exaggeration. Now, watching a teenage girl help her injured attackers to the medical bay, showing more mercy than they'd planned for her, Administrator Corvex understood why humans were classified as Deathworlders. It wasn't their strength or speed or biological weapons. It was that they trained their children to be survivors, then taught them to be kind anyway. That combination, Corvex realized, was the most dangerous adaptation of all.